Welcome to this look at a new mod map on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. This is Oberkirchheim. This is a new mod map out by the Lort. It's 133.57 megabytes to download. The map looks like this. It's not a huge map. There's quite a lot to... Well, it's quite a lot crammed onto the map, but there's also some bits we're going to need to buy as we go around because there's a few icons that aren't showing yet that we'll do once we buy them. On New Farmer, we start with this plot here, which has got our main farm on, I guess. There's 2 farms on the map and field 1. Field prices, I have to say, are pretty good across the board. I mean, like fields like that, 37 grand, 26, 19. Even the, say, the bigger ones, maybe field 10, 139 grand. Field 23, 136. The periphery, verges of the map, is 1.32 million. If you want to buy that to be able to put placeables and things around in other areas, that might be helpful before you start your Let's Play if you want to. And then we've got a few forest areas as well. Again, not too expensive. So for doing a bit of forest work here and there, pretty good. We start here, as I said, at the main farm. Now this map has got some required mods. They download automatically when you download the map. That's the Bavarian farm pack, the Farmhouse Loderer, the grass drying and natural water plants. I've put the details of those in the description, but like I say, they will download automatically. So what we've got here is the Bavarian farmhouse, which has got the cow stable built onto the side of it. We've got a sleep trigger just there and a wardrobe trigger there. We do start with a dog kennel. As you can hear behind us, we do start with animals across the map as well, which you'll see as we go around. So with our chickens here behind us, I think we've got 300 out of 360 in this one just here. This is also part, I think, part of the Bavarian farm pack. We've got a few bits of machinery here. We might as well talk about slot count because we've got our start machineries right here. On New Farm, it's 1,406. We start with all the buildings and all the equipment. If you come into your own farm manager or start from scratch, it goes down to 1,227. You still have all the buildings, but you don't have any of the vehicles. You do still have all the animals on here as well. And all the animal pens. So you could get that slot count down even further than 1,227 if you removed all the buildings and things. Because if I go into build mode, because we own this bit of land on New Farm already, we can demolish all the various different bits if we wanted to, and clear this completely and then put on stuff of our own if we did want to start with the start equipment. That's entirely up to you, of course. If we go over to our barn door just here, we've got our dialogue box here for the cows. I think we start with 15 out of 45. We do 15 cows out of 45. Let's get that door open. Come out the other side, we've got some storage space, more equipment and machinery. We'll have a look at that in the menu in just a bit. We do start with a fair bit, so there's all your sort of grass work equipment just there. Another couple of tractors, including a voucher, cultivator just tucked in there. Your feed trigger for the cows is just there. The Bavarian one has been on a few different maps already. We've got a fuel tank here. We do start with 2,000 litres already in this. This one will hold 25,000 litres. We've got 2 silage clamps to our right. Slurry point there, part of the cow pens over to the side. Then we have got the Bavarian farm pack multi-fruit silo. That's a 2 million litre multi-fruit silo. We've got a seed silo just there. We've got nothing in it, but we'll do 27,300 litres. And we've got a water point there. Header trailer. Some more equipment just there. Jet wash just over here. And then we've got our harvester and harvester header there. So as far as equipment and machinery, if we go all the way down to the bottom, there's nothing added in by the map maker, so there's no mods put in by the map maker. But what do we start with? Under small tractors, we've got the Fendt Fabric. We've just seen that we got the Valtra Q225 and the Fendt 714 Vario. We've got a New Holland CH770 harvester, Rudolph trailer, the header we've seen. We've got an Agramash plough, Lemken cultivator we've seen, the seeder was in the barn we were just by, the Taurus MC6F, the mowing equipment, tedder, windrower, forage wagon and header trailer. The grass equipment, we went past that as well. So that's all your start equipment. We're going to whiz down and grab, I think we'll grab the Fendt. Makes more sense while I'm doing that. Starting that, I'm just going to put some money in because we're going to need that before going around with a few bits. Now the bits we've got to buy aren't expensive, but we're going to need them to show the icons and give you access and that kind of thing. Actually, before I do that, the other thing I was supposed to show you, under build mode. So, under build mode, what has been added in? Well, obviously there's the required mods that are in here, but we do have on the end there, Oberkirchheim mod. We've got a small garage. There are a few bits and bobs put in here, other than things that are required mods. I'm trying to think what's the other one. There was a few bits under container, that's Bavarian, tools and farmhouses. So the Bavarian farm pack, Farmhouse Loderer. Under productions, then there's nothing under factories, he says, and then there's the grass drying mod, which is the required mod. Greenhouses, oh, it's greenhouses. Oberkirchheim mod, there's a greenhouse on the end there. Nothing under orchards. Under generators, we do have a large wind turbine, which interesting is the same per month and same price as the standard one, so I'm not sure why that's modded, but anyway, it is. Under animal pens, under cows, we've got the Bavarian farm pack one, and under Oberkirchheim cow pasture. Under pigs, nothing. Horses, we've got an Oberkirchheim pasture. Under sheep, an Oberkirchheim mod. Chickens, we've got the Bavarian one and an Oberkirchheim. Bees, well, interestingly, we have got a couple there. And then under decoration, I don't think there's anything on decoration actually, to be honest. Nope. But landscaping is a little bit more, there's a little bit more going on, let's say. Under painting, under the textures, animal mud, there's a slightly different texture, but we've got some cobbles and things. But if we keep scrolling, there are loads under here. Quite a few textures. Same with trees, and there seem to be a lot of trees, although none of them are saying Oberkirchheim mod. However, under plants, that's a whole different matter. So whilst we do have the natural plants required mod, all of these say Oberkirchheim. Leaves on the ground, so you've got flat cap mushrooms, maple leaves, thimbleberry, maiden fern, stinging nettles, cultivated, ploughed, stones small, stones medium, stones big. There's a ton on here. And then the natural water plants ones as well. So yeah, a whole load going on there, added in by the map maker on top of the required mod. So let's have and be on our way, shall we? I'm going to do a clockwise route round, starting anti-clockwise, because of course you do, don't you, when you're going to do clockwise? It just makes sense. Just up to here, and then we'll go around. Let's open the map up at the bottom, just to make life a little bit easier. If you want to keep an eye on that, you can. Now, the actual valley itself is pretty much flat. There's, I'll say, not much to undulations. Some of the fields have got a bit of a rise and fall in them, but not huge. It's not like there's hills in the middle of them or anything like that. And some of the bits around the outside, the sort of verges bits that you can buy, have a little bit. So we've got grass drying out to here. Now this is down as a production chain, as you saw. This is 100,000. So if we buy that, click on that again, this will do hay and it will do silage. A 1-to-1 ratio, 1,000 in, 1,008 of both. Grass in, hay and silage out. 48 cycles per month. It's not going to be super speedy, but with 1,000 in and 1,000 out, the recipe's not too bad, so it should be okay. So now we're going to carry on clockwise. We're going to go south and then across the bottom. Like I say, for a fairly small map, there's a lot packed into it, and it's got a lot of character. So as we sweep round in the shadow of the mountains, we've got the biomass heating plant coming up, and right next door to that we've got a little plot with 4 large greenhouses. Now as it stands at the moment, when you get there, they're just sitting there, 4 large greenhouses. Let's hop the fence. What I do like is things like this, all the pedestrian access, you've got all these like and it looks like it's painted on the ground as well. That level of detail is amazing. For 133.57 megabytes for the map. I know it's a smallish map, but I think it's brilliant. So if we come to here and then we go to the map, let's have a look. We are now currently here. This little plot there will cost you 17,064. Let's buy that, do that and that. And the 4 greenhouses pop up as now yours and available. Now these are normally at 10 grand a pop. So for 17 grand, not only do you get the plot, you get 4 greenhouses on it as well. These just take water, but they will do your tomatoes, lettuce and strawberries. Like I say, there are 4 of them. Very handy indeed. Hop the fence again, continue on. As we come out just here, we have a selection of Langström beehives, the 33s. I will say this as well, in certain parts of the map I've noticed the traffic is absolutely bonkers. You look at it coming down the road, it does not hang about. Some maps it's ultra slow, and other maps it's ridiculously fast. And you can't slow down to turn or anything because you get absolutely hammered. So, beehives. We've got 5 beehives here, and the little plot of land where we're standing is just here. That will set you back 7,200. Now each of those beehives is usually 20 grand to buy. So if I buy that plot of land, there we go. That's our 5 beehives, and then you get the little bit in the middle for where the pallets of honey will spawn. Pricing on it is amazing. Maybe you might think it's a little bit too cheap, or that's up to you. Once you bought that little plot of land, you can always take a load off and then put them on one at a time if you want to, if that's something you want to do. Dairy just to our left hand side, and then we cross the river. Now, something else I didn't really talk about on the map. We've got a river that runs up here, and then we've got a T-junction, so it sort of splits. That's the main river, or that's a canal actually, I think. And the river runs, I would imagine, into the canal, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. And then obviously you've got that top section there, which is north of the river. So we've got 3 bridges there, but we've got a couple of bridges here to cross. It's very nicely done. Like I say, it's very natural, a lot of character. The wind turbines turning lazily in the wind, if there is any wind. Or are they generating wind? Controversial. Not at all, actually. It's interesting how many people think they do, though. But anyway, enough of that. Just across here we've got the spinnery and we've got the sugar mill, both productions that can be purchased. And then we move on to the second of our farms. We don't own it yet. Triggers are both showing already. So we've got a cow barn here. Now this is the Farmhouse Loderer. This is the other one, which is a mod required. And we've got the same silo, so 2 million litre multi-fruit silo. Barn and shed space here. This one has got... how many cows? I think this is 15 out of 20 we've got on this one. Yeah, 15 out of potential 20 already in here. You got your feed areas, light switches, slurry points, straw points, silage clamp just over there, hayloft. The other one had a hayloft as well. I didn't cover the hayloft. And actually, while we're saying that, did I just notice one? I was just going to say there are 100 collectibles around the map, and contracts are available. There we go. There's one. I know I've seen one somewhere. So yeah, 100 collectibles, and there are contracts available also. We've got our sleep trigger. Where's that? In here, isn't it? That door opens. No, that's a workshop trigger. That's your workshop. Oh, there's not a sleep trigger in this one. Did I dream that bit? Oh no, it's around the side there. I knew there was one somewhere. There's your sleep trigger around the side. I think the bench normally comes separate with this. So there's your sleep trigger. And this plot of land isn't too expensive either. I think this is, how much is it? 32,000. So the triggers are already there. Hang on, what happened there? Yeah, so the cow one's already there. And then from here, all of this section across the bottom is all the forestry. Goes around the side and up there. There's plenty to do if you want to be doing any forestry. We've got another, I mean that bit up there is actually, that's more grassland than forestry. I think there's a little bit maybe on the edge, but that's a more open meadow type situation. So we're going to head along the bottom now, out towards the sawmill. Actually, I might go through the woodlands. I wasn't going to, but might as well. The change is as good as the rest, they say. So heading right the way through here, like I say, there's plenty to be getting on with. It's all fairly standard stuff as well. There's not too much of a mixture of trees. So as far as loading up log trailers and having to wrestle with some of those pesky trees, they've got lots of branches. These should be fairly straightforward. So sawmill just here. So for bringing your lumber here and then doing your pallets of planks. Then we come out of here and across the way, just there, which we're going to get to in a second. I'm just going to have to look at my details. We've got the straight lager sell point. I knew I should have looked the other way as well. I told you. Well, that wasn't the traffic's fault. That was my fault. But so we've got straight lager sell point. Now this will do regular crop types, and it will also do pallets, as you can see. Great there, and then the pallet point just there. We've got a buy anything station. Now when I say buy anything, sometimes it's, you know, it's seed, fertilizer, that kind of thing. But if we go to our menu and go to that, if you look to the right hand side on pretty much every crop type, down at the bottom it says buying station. So for everything, wheat, barley, oat, canola, sorghum, as I went down, pretty much everything on that list has got a price in the buying station, and all cheaper than you can sell it for. So you can pretty much buy anything from that buying station. It's not just a seed, fertilizer, you know, animal feed thing. You can pretty much get anything you want from that buying station. Across the way we have got a debris crusher, which has been nicely integrated, very cleverly. I think it's just one of those nice little touches. You've got a bit of roadworks going on here. It's been widened a little bit so people can get past, but where they're doing the work, you've got the debris crusher. So part of the, you know, clearing it, getting rid of the asphalt and all the gravel and stuff, that can all just be put into the rock crusher and got rid of. But that's your debris crusher point just here. Now obviously you can't remove any, I don't think you can remove any of this unless you buy all the periphery, but I wouldn't have thought so. I think that's pretty much fixed in place, but you could do a little storyline there. You could have some piles of gravel and rock and stuff that you've got to clear, or however you want to go about it. Of course, as always, is your decision. From here, continuing north, we've got the biogas plant coming up. This one's another one where you don't have to buy the biogas plant, you buy the land. When you buy the land, you get access to the biogas plant. There are 4 smaller, yeah, sometimes you get the sort of standard in-game, like the massive silage dumps. This has got 4 of the smaller ones, 2 that side and 2 that side. This plot of land, not too expensive either. So we're now here. That plot, 34,884 for the biogas plant. Let's buy that, do that. So now the triggers and things appear. This is a standard biogas plant, doesn't do anything, you know, crazy or anything like that. Silage, slurry, manure and sugar beet cut, and they're all at 24 cycles a month. The recipes are slightly different, but yeah, fairly standard. Digestate out, nothing on top of that, no methane or anything like that. It's a pretty standard biogas plant. But nice bit of room, nicely, like again, it just fits into the map, it just works well, you know. So, from here, when I said about there were other animal pens around the map, we've got this little section here. So we've got these 4 pastures, which are part of the Oberkirchheim modding. Now these can all be bought separately, which I thought was interesting as well. They've all got animals in them. If we go back to the map, we're now here. If we click on it, that one, 5,508. That one, 6,804. That one, 5,166. And that one, 4,860. For our cows, we've got 15 out of 15 in there. Our horses, then we've got 4 out of 5. We have sheep. They're not chickens, don't mix those up. 10 out of 15. And chickens, I think we have 300 out of 500 on here. 300 out of 500. So yeah, quite a few, and not expensive to buy once you've got them. And then they should all appear once you've got them. Yeah, all down the side there. And they've all got feed as well. I don't know if you've noticed. They've all got something in already. So once you've bought them, you don't have to rush to getting stuff. Generally speaking, before I get animals, I will prep whatever feed and stuff I need first. But it's good to know that you can get on with these straight away, and they have got some food to keep them going. Obviously, the horses will need to be exercised and stuff. But yeah, so those pastures there are not too expensive to buy either, like the bees and the greenhouses were. Pretty reasonable. Now I'm going to pull out into the flow of traffic. He's going to hoon up behind me. I feel pressured, leave me alone. So, crossing the bridge to the north. Was that Prince the Canal? Carpentry to the left, and then up here to the north we have got grapevines just here. We've got Farmers Market sell point just to the left there, and then we've got olive grove, olive vines on this side. So if you want to do a bit of that, it's already in place, it's already there. You can buy the land and just crack on with it. So that's nice to have as well if you want to do that. continuing, we have got a placeables area and a shed to the right. The little plot of land that the shed's on, you need to buy, but again, very inexpensive because it won't let you open the shed doors until you do buy that plot. So it's not an open shed, it's just it's got 3 garage doors in there, but we've got a placeables area just there. Then just across the road there, we've got another couple of, but they're open sheds. And then that big meadow that I was talking about runs off across here, across the top. So if you want to do a load of grass work and stuff, or you want to put placeables up here or production chains, it's all fairly flat, so shouldn't be any bother at all. As we come down in towards the main town itself, let me just check that. Why is that? Yeah, Prince Ludwig Canal. Another placeables area to the right just there, with a church there. We're going to go round behind the vehicle store first because we've got some production chains around the back which you can only access, I say you can only access, from this track here, which runs right the way across, or this one here, or you can come up from the south there, but you can't access it from the main high street, so to speak, so that's why I've got to come around the back first. I'm just going to cut across the grass. We've got pizzeria on the left, we've got tailors just there, and then just in here we've got the oil mill and we've got the grape processing unit, so these are all tucked away around the back. And then to the end of that road, you just got a little bit of housing. Now, something else on this map, if you want to start, if you don't want to start with a farm and you wanted to clear all those areas and not build your own farm up from scratch, there are loads of these little plots. Now, some of those have got stuff on, but there's loads of bits where you can buy the smaller plots. Like that one's got the garage on it. Obviously, that one's got the. Oh, that was carpentry and that was farmer's market, but you can buy those all individually. So if you want to put placeables on those areas, you can. So if you wanted to decide, you wanted a separate place to start, there's plenty of locations to do it from. Right, back out to the high street. The fields are all pretty open. Obviously you've got the rivers, you've got a couple of bits here and there, but not fenced in. There's a few tree-lined ones which you might want to remove some trees if you want to blend fields together. I would say this is a map for small to medium equipment. It's not a massive machinery map, but to be fair, as long as you can get out to the fields initially, you don't have to go through the town, so you could get away with some bigger machinery if you wanted to. I know I often get people messaging me about maps and say, oh, can I use X, Y, Z on that map? In all honesty, most maps you can use pretty much anything you want. It's just about getting it around the map. Most maps are ideally suited for a particular type of machinery, and some maps you can get away with much bigger stuff. The big open sort of American, Canadian, I mean, you've got a whole load of different maps like that. Western Wilds, No Man's Land, those kind of things. But some maps have got very narrow, tight lanes and aren't really suited. But if you can get the machinery around the map, you can use whatever you like. So we've got the main machinery store, the trigger just there. We'll get our vehicle workshop trigger at the main machinery store over here. This is also the reset point, so if you have any problems or issues, you need to reset any machinery, you can do that here. Across the way, we've got our cereal factory and we've got our grain mill opposite each other, which kind of makes sense really when you think about it. Then carrying on down the high street. Around the back we've got the restaurant. I think it's the restaurant. If I can cut across this traffic without annihilated. Restaurant tucked up the back here, right by the side of the river. Little play area. You can go down to the boats as well. And there's collectibles all over the place. You can see them as we're driving around. They're scattered all over, and they don't seem to be hidden anywhere. They're all pretty visible. Then just across the way there, I like all the little shops. I like the way it's all built in as well. So you've got all the shops along here, but the bakery is tucked in along the high street and around the back. You've got all your bits for delivery, your pallet spawn point. But like I say, it's things like that, it makes it feel very natural, like it's just completely integrated in. Yes, it's a fairly standard in-game, it's a bakery, it's a production chain, but the way it's done in the street, it just fits in, like that's where it should be. Again, that was on me, sorry. Fuel station, just to the left here. Round behind it, we've got charge points for electricity and methane. So if you're running any machinery that requires those, they're around the back there of the careful now. Doesn't seem to matter which way I look. Go away. Leave me alone. Crossing back over the river. We've got the supermarket sale point that side. And this side, we've got the animal dealer. Just tucked away in there. And then the farm we started at is just over there. So, if we go back to the map, we started there, we did that route round there, came across the bottom there, past the greenhouses, beehives, out to the second farm area there, through the woodland, sawmill, straight lager, the binding silo and the debris crusher, up to the biogas plant, the animal pens that were there, carpentry, farmer's market, down into the town with the vehicle workshop, the tailors, and what was the one before the tailors? Pizzeria, the oil mill, and grape processing. Then we came up out of there and we got the cereal factory, grain mill, restaurant, bakery, fuel station, supermarket, and animal dealer. I remembered them. There we go. And that's the map. It's really cool, like I say. Nicely made. It has a really nice feel to it, you know, and I like that in a map. When you feel comfortable, when you feel like it's homely kind of thing, it just works very well. So there we go. That's the Oberkirchheim map by the Lort. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.